Hello my friend, welcome in a new tutorial. In the previous lessons we were able to create a new project and we were able to send some data by this data project we created data for. Today we need to talk about response as route and response with back and response with EView and to external domains. So we will starting work in the VS Code. First of all, we need to create a new route. So we say route, excuse me, it's Arabic, route, and for example get, and here I get, and say I named this route for example product, and create anonymous function, and parentheses and braces, and end by semicolon, and in this function I return for example response, and into this response I say hi, welcome in light code GHT, light code channel. I need to redirect the response, the request response with this route. So after that we need to create a middleware for controlling the request permission. So we need to new terminal, and here we use this working PHP artisan make for us colon middleware, and I named it for example check password, check password middleware, hit enter, could not open input file artisan, excuse me, let me check this artisan, and delete, and come back in end. It create for us a new middleware. You can see this here, HTTP middleware and check password. In the class check password we need to set logic, add our logic. So we say if $request has, for example, has a password, and this password equal, and this $request and password equal, for example, 1 2 3 4, then do this for us. Do this. Control X and paste here. Else the request has not password 1234, then redirect the user to this route. So let me complete this work. So I say return redirect and after that I need helper route, and I name it this route, for example here product. For wasting time I say name, and it name be product. So I come back here and say add name the route here, product, and semicolon. After that we need to upload our project on local server. I think I started it. Yes, it's working. So I need to go back to the terminal and say php artisan serve and hit enter. Yes. So I go back to the browser and say localhost 8000. This our previous project. We need to add here password text box. So we go back to the VS Code again, and we go to the view, create a view, and here we need to add a new item. Control C and change something here. Control V. So I named it password and type password and name is also password. Okay, let me refresh this project. Yes, we added a new text box password. In the we need to register the middleware check password in the kernel. So we will go to this file, and here we say we added name for this middleware. For example, check password and equal and say app log app and excuse me, what happened? Oh, middleware kernel. App and middleware and check password. I search for check password. Let me middleware check password this and indicate as a class and comma. We registering this middleware here. Now we need to go back to the web and protect our for example, these resources protected this route by middleware. So we say middleware, and add the name this middleware. I think is check password. So check password. This check password. So we protect our resource, our route by this middleware. This middleware say here in this logic, if request sent by the user has a password word and the password word equal 1 2 3 4, then give the permission to the user to access, show his data. Else return this user, redirect this user to this route. This route, hi, welcome in light code channel. So let me check our work here. I'll go here and say Nilsson, for example, Mandela, and say 1 2 3 4. Yes, user can the access to this. Let me close this. Access this page and show his data here. Now let me check if the user does not have any permission. For example, I add 5 here, 1 2 3 5, and send data. You can see here our project redirect the user to this route. Hi, welcome in light code channel. This type of redirecting the request of the user into the route. So after that, we need to show the second part, our tutorial, response with back. Sometimes we need to redirect the user to the first page, the previous page we sent. For example, we let me show you that. If the user does not have any permission, we need to redirect them in this page again. So let me change this. We need to use this helper response with back. So let me go to the VS Code, and here in the check password here I say back, and enough. So I refresh the project again. So I say localhost, say here, and say for example Bean and Duncan, and say 1 2 3 4 5, and send data. You can see our project redirect us to the previous page, but without any information. By this work, we can correct our mistake in inserting the correct data. The third part, response with a view, we can redirecting the user to the view we have a need. So let me show you that. If we need, for example, redirecting the user in the special view, we can redirect him by this helper. Let me show you that. Here we can add helper view, for example, response. I remove this. So I type response, and in this response I use helper view helper, and say view, and in the view I need to add the name of view page. We need to redirect the user to this page. For example, I search for one. I use this welcome the official page of Laravel framework. So I use this for wasting time. I don't have enough time to creating a new page, a view page. So I use this page for saving time. So I say welcome this page, welcome, I think is correct. So go back to the VS Code. I say, for example, Nelson again Mandela, and say incorrect password 1 2 3 4 5. So you can see our project redirect us to the new view. After that, we need to test something else. We need to sometimes we need to redirect the user to the external domain. For example, for Google page, this Google page is external domain. So let me show you that in the VS Code and in a practical way. So here we remove this and we use this helper way. Let me show you that. Return redirect here. Redirect, and in redirect, after redirect, I use the helper. We say hey way, excuse me, way. Excuse me, way, away. Excuse me, away. Away, and in this away, for example, I say I use this, for example, for wasting time. Google, for example, Google Translate or anything. Google. Let me type this. I use here this, for example. Let me copy this for wasting time. For saving time, wasting time. Excuse me. External domains. Where is external domains? External domains. Other type of views and external. For example, I use this for Control C, and in the VS Code I add this phrase here. By this away, excuse me, away. By this helper, we can redirect the response to the page external of our project. Let me check that if it's correct or not. I go here and go back. And for example, I say I insert incorrect number 1 2 3 4 5. Yes, redirect factory. Let me check how can it say redirect, response redirect. Let me copy this, Control C, and come back to the VS Code. Excuse me. I copy this, for example, all this. Control C, and go back to the VS Code and type it this here, Control V. And I refresh our project again and set enter. You can see here our project redirect user to the external domain. I think this is enough for this episode. In this episode, we familiar with how we can redirect the response of redirect the user to the route, and how can redirect the user to the back page, previous page, and redirect the user in the new view, and redirect the user to the external domains. I think this enough for this episode, for this tutorial. If this tutorial helpful for you, please support us by like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.